Devastation!
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Lost His Parents and Became the Supreme King of Devastation movie. Before we start, please go support lucifer-ficks for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. What would happen if you witnessed the deaths of the most important people in your life twice? Issei Hyoudou could answer that question. Until now, his normal life has been nothing but tragedy. But everything will change after he discovers who he truly is and what his true abilities are. Issei Super Demon. Chapter 1. Hyoudou Issei's Training. What would life be like after witnessing the death of the most important people in your life twice? Issei Hyoudou, a 17-year-old, could answer that question, but he would now be about to die at the hands of a fallen angel who was posing as his girlfriend. Issei's life, or as it's more easily known, Ice, is not something to envy until now that he is about to die, but his story begins 14 years ago when Issei was just a little 3 years old. This is the story of Hyoudou Issei. 14 years ago. The story begins in the underworld, the home of demons and a place of suffering for human souls. Separated from all demonic civilization was a humble house, hidden in a mountain with abundant vegetation and much more open space. In this house resided two unique demons. Saren Zagan and Christoph Alifer, two high-class demons with truly unimaginable powers. They had been prodigies in their youth many years ago, then, as adults, the first great war between factions broke out. Both demons served on the side of the former Mao as incredibly powerful generals, always loyal to the old Mao. It was during one of the battles, when Saren's squad was in trouble, that Christoph single-handedly arrived to support them and turn the tide of the battle. It was then that they met. To say they fell in love at first sight would be a lie, since Saren was a woman who liked to fix everything herself and only cared about battles, which is why she was nicknamed the unattainable princess, whereas Christoph was the kind of demon who liked to support. Saren was a woman with long brown hair that reached her back, green eyes, and a voluptuous body. She usually wore a white jacket with black trim buttoned up to the neck, thigh-length shorts of the same color as the jacket, revealing her beautiful legs, and high sandals. Christoph was a tall, well-built man with deep violet eyes, jet black hair slicked back, and a stubble beard that gave him a masculine and attractive look. He had scars on his arms from countless battles. Their relationship was quite tense at first, as Saren couldn't stand Christoph's attitude at all, even though Christoph had a secret crush on her. But one night, while Saren was in her private hideaway, which she used to relax in, something happened. Some men, members of the anti-Mao faction who wanted to eliminate the Mao generals, discovered the location of Saren's hideout and with paralysis magic, attacked and kidnapped the woman in order to kill her. Saren, accepting that everything was about to end, had no choice but to surrender to her fate and accept death. "Forgive me, mother, father, I will not be able to fulfill your dream," she thought with pain as she was about to be executed in a lost part of the forest where her hiding place was located. As the leader's sword was about to pierce his heart, a powerful explosion was heard nearby. Saren opened her eyes in shock at what she saw. Christoph had placed himself between her and the leader, using only his body. "I'm sorry, but I can't let them hurt this beautiful woman." And with those words, Christoph made them all disappear in a kind of burst of dark magic, or more specifically, dark magic. "Hey, are you okay, Princess of Zagan?" Christoph asked without looking at her again. "Why yes." Saren replied, the effects of the paralysis beginning to wear off, but since she had been tied hand and foot, she was still lying on the ground. "I see, I'm glad to have arrived on time," he said, looking at her again. Tears began to form in Saren's eyes when she saw Christoph lose his right eye for protecting her from the attack. "See Christoph," she said as tears streamed down her face. "Well, I never expected to see the day when the unattainable princess cried from fright," he said, freeing her from her restraints and helping her to her feet. "See Christoph, wire your eye," she exclaimed, beginning to sob and resting her head on Christoph's chest. "Don't worry about it, it's just a small price to pay for your life," he said calmly as he gently hugged Saren. After that event, the two maintained a secret relationship. By day they were the most powerful generals of the original Mao, but by night they were two lovers who met in secret because of the war. After the death of the Mao, Christoph and Saren had no more reason to continue in the battles, so together they decided to run away one night and leave behind everything that prevented them from being together. They spent many years living a peaceful life. There were always some problems, but what made them a beautiful couple was that despite everything, they always ended up working things out. Their love bore fruit when their beloved son, Valifer Zagan Issei, was born. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Issei's birth was particularly complicated. When Saren was in labor, Issei's powers were unleashed, a wave of energy enveloped the entire house they lived in, nature was reacting violently to the birth of the baby. Saren was going through immense pain. Kristoff had no choice but to use a powerful seal that permanently blocked his powers, stopping the manifestation of his son and temporarily sealing his powers. Saren, for her part, had put a great strain on her body from giving birth to her son, so her powers were reduced to almost nothing. After the entire birthing process, the three of them spent a peaceful night, although their house was completely destroyed. Kristoff explained that the seal he placed on ice would reduce his powers to almost nothing. He didn't know for how long, but he hoped it would be long enough for him to control it, or else they would have a lot of problems. After 3 years, Ice lived peacefully with her parents. They were a happy family who had plenty of love for each other. Unfortunately, one night everything changed for them. Demons who still suffered the aftereffects of the war and harbored great resentment against the former Mao discovered the truth behind the lives of Kristoff and Saren and decided to end their lives as a way of making them pay for their years of service in the war. The demons set the house of the three on fire, and if they tried to escape, they would be ready to kill whatever came out. "Kristoff, what can we do?" Saren asked as she carried Ice in her arms. "There's only one thing we can do. Listen, darling, the most important thing is to keep our beloved son alive, so this will be our last mission," she said, a tear rolling down her cheek. The demons waited for a few minutes until Kristoff came out of the house. He had kicked down the door and used it to try to push away the demons that were in front of him. This gave Saren time to escape with Issei in her arms. Some demons were going after them, but Kristoff stood in their way. "They'll only touch my family after they've killed me." Saying that, he prepared to attack those demons. "Issei, my son will always be with you, that's why live for us." And with that thought, he gave his life to give his beloved family a few precious minutes, a life that changed his very being. Saren ran desperately, tears overflowing from her eyes. Several minutes had passed since she had fled. She knew the demons wouldn't take long to find her, and to top it all off, Issei had woken up and started crying because he saw his mom crying. SHH, here's mommy, sweetheart," she said, hiding behind a tree and laying Issei down on the ground. "Issei, my beloved Issei, you don't know how happy you've made your father and me. Forgive us, because we can no longer be with you in this world, but we will always be inside you," she said, kissing Issei on the forehead and leaving a magical mark that disappeared almost instantly. "We love you, son. Daddy loves you, mommy loves you," she cried as she watched Issei try to hug her. "Please live." And with that, she used all the power she had left to transport her son to safety. A short time later, Saren joined her husband in eternity, where they would be together always watching over the product of their love. The human world. Issei appeared through a magic circle in a park in a Japanese city called Kao. The little boy, noticing his parents' absence, burst into tears at being alone in an unfamiliar place. "Did you hear that, dear?" asked a woman walking past her husband in the park. The woman's name was Issei Hyoudou. "It sounds like a baby," said her husband, Richard Hyoudou, upon hearing the cries. They both went to where the cries were coming from, finding little Issei wrapped in a blanket that had his name embroidered on it. "It says Issei here," Stella said, holding Issei in her arms. "Hello. We found your baby," Richard said, trying to find the child's parents, but no one came to meet him. "Richard, we can't leave this little baby here," Stella said worriedly as she clung to Issei. "I know, dear, it's best if we keep him until we see what we can do." And with that, they took little Issei with them. Initially, they had planned to take Issei to the authorities so they could investigate his real parents, but soon they grew fond of the little baby, so they decided to take care of him themselves. They kept Issei's name and gave him the surname Hyoudou, and that's how Issei became part of a peaceful and normal family again. Over time, the memories of his real family became blurry dreams that ended in fragments of memories. For the little boy, it made no sense, and he simply kept them to himself. 4 years later. At the age of 7, Issei Hyoudou had a completely normal life. He went to school, he had some friends, and everything was normal. His parents gave him as much love as possible, helped him with school and everything they could. Issei had grown up as a brown-haired boy, his hair reaching a little below his neck. He had heterochromia. His right eye was deep violet, while his left eye was blue. He also had a kind of mark on his back. It was purple and looked like a tattoo. When his parents took him to the doctor, they determined it was a very strange kind of birthmark, though they couldn't really figure out what it was. One day, Issei was leaving school when the father of one of his friends gave him a ride home. Issei excitedly went inside to tell his parents everything he had done that day. But her excitement turned to shock when she entered her home. Everything was destroyed. It was as if a bomb had exploded inside the house. Nothing had been spared. Looking inside, he found he was not alone. A tall man dressed in a black robe, with long green hair and reading glasses, was holding his parents by the neck, who were in a deplorable state. Behind that man were two others, more robust in appearance, with what looked like bat wings sticking out of their backs. "Now I'll say it one last time, where is the monster Issei?" the man said, squeezing the Hyoudou family tighter. We already told you we sent him to study abroad. Richard said as he was being squeezed by the neck. AI humans, you're nothing but annoying cockroaches to us. He said, releasing Issei's parents. They're no longer of any use to us, finish them off quickly. He told his companions before disappearing into a blue magic circle with a symbol in the middle. The two men summoned magic in their hands and walked up to Issei's parents. Stop. Issei shouted, emerging from his hiding place. Issei. What are you doing here? You have to leave. His parents told him. So, abroad, said one of the men. Please don't hurt my parents, I'll do anything. Issei begged, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry, little one. And with that, the two demons pierced Issei's parents' bodies with their attacks. Issei ran to where his parents' bodies had fallen. Issei-ran. That's what his father said before he stopped breathing. Mom, Dad. Issei sobbed, hugging his parents. Now, little one, it's your turn. The two men formed their attacks again and were ready to end Issei's life, however, the air began to feel heavier, a strange purple beam shook the Hyoudou home and fell right on Issei's back, where his birthmark was located. The demons watched in terror as a whirlwind of dark and violet energy formed around the little boy. Black marks began to appear around the boy's body and his hair began to grow and turn black with some silver strands. I'll kill them. Issei said in a demonic voice before enveloping the entire house in his dark energy, making those demons disappear. The next day. Here it is, Surzich's-sama. Said a man who appeared from a red magic circle. Behind him stood a man with crimson hair and white skin, covered by a grey robe with golden lines, and underneath that he wore a white shirt and pants. Thank you, Saoji, said the current Lucifer, entering the residence or what remained of the Hyoudou residence. So this is where the power of a super demon originated, he said, inspecting the place. Do you think it's Rizavam? Saoji asked. That's likely, since he's the only one we haven't heard from in a long time, he said, looking around. Surzich's caught a glimpse out of the corner of his eyes of the silhouettes of two people on the wall. It was as if they had been burned alive and only their traces of ash remained stuck to the wall. Surzich's-sama, this way. Saoji shouted from another part of the house. Surzich's reached his servant and saw a small child under some rubble of the house. Boost. It was suddenly heard. Surzich's and Saoji saw that the voice was actually coming from the boy's left arm, which was covered by a red glove with some gold lines and a green gem. Quick, Saoji, let's get him out of there. Surzich's said, and with his demonic powers, they pulled Issei out of the rubble. Incredible, he's the wielder of the Red Dragon Emperor, the Sekiryuutei, Surzich's said. Is he a demon? Saoji asked. I sense no demonic power emanating from him, so he is not a demon, and he did not cause the destruction of this place, Surzich's replied. So he's just a victim. What shall we do with him, my lord? For now I'm going to take him to the underworld. Hello my readers, here's a new project I've been working on recently. I felt very inspired by the third season of High School DxD and also by the recent fanfics I've been reading, so I wanted to write one myself. You already know how my new projects work. If I see activity, a good number of reviews and followers, then I'll continue. Of course, I'll also keep updating my other works every week. You know that if I miss an update, I'll make up for it with another chapter, so it's up to you. This story will be a harem with some original members of Issei's harem and others who aren't, but whom I will include. Also, Issei won't be a pervert. I plan to make this Issei a different man than the one in the anime, not a wimp XD, although I really like the original Issei. Chapter 2 Dragon Fury. Where am I? Issei was just waking up in a strange room that was decorated entirely in crimson. He had bandages around his forehead and on his abdomen. So you've finally woken up. Said a crimson-haired man standing in the doorway of the room. Who are you? Where am I? I asked the little Issei, frightened. Calm down, little boy, I'm not going to hurt you, the man said, starting to enter the room. My name is Surzich's Lucifer, one of the 4 demon kings, and now you find yourself in my castle. He said, approaching the bed where Issei lay. Demon king? He said, confused. Wait. Where are my parents? He asked, alarmed. Relax, first of all, I'd like to know your name and for you to tell me the last thing you remember. Surzich's said calmly, trying to reassure Issei. My name is Hyoudou, Issei. The last thing I remember, images of that fateful night flooded his mind. I arrived home, it was completely destroyed inside, and 3 people with bat wings, they had my parents. They said they were looking for me, but my parents didn't tell them anything. The leader, who was a tall man with green hair, disappeared in a kind of circle after my parents didn't tell them where I was. The other 2 were going to kill them with strange things coming out of their hands, so I came out of hiding and begged them not to hurt them, but they, she said, tears streaming down her face. After that, I don't remember what happened, Issei said. I understand. Unfortunately, when we arrived at your house, we found no one but you, Surziches told Issei. You were badly injured and weak, so to prevent anyone from dying, I brought you here and I'm healing you myself. So it's true my parents are gone. Issei said sadly. You see, Issei-kun, there's something you should know about the people who attacked you, Surziches said seriously. They were demons, real demons. Be damn it. Yes, angels, fallen angels and demons, all of that is real, and now you find yourself in the underworld, home of all demons. Why were those guys looking for me? Issei asked. This is just a guess, but I think it's because of what you have inside you, he replied. Issei-kun, I want you to focus on the most powerful thing that comes to mind and keep it there. The strongest thing I can think of. Issei thought of an anime character he had long admired, concentrated on the image of his hero, and suddenly felt something appear on his left arm. Boost. A red glove with gold lines, of considerable size and with 2 green gems appeared on his arm. So it's true the Sekiryuutei has already been born, Surziches said. You see, Issei-kun, what you have on your arm is a sacred gear, one of the weapons given to humans, so they could defend themselves against dangers beyond the natural world, but you possess a longinus, a more powerful kind of sacred gear. So the demons wanted me for this power. That's likely, but demons are strictly forbidden from attacking humans. Those who attacked you that time are probably rogues seeking to prove their own supremacy. Even so, I'm truly sorry for what happened to you. Surziches said, bowing an apology. And no, don't do that. A king shouldn't bow to someone like me. Besides, it wasn't your fault. If it weren't for you, I'd probably be dead by now. I'm the one who owes you my life. Issei said, bowing as well. I understand. You see, Issei-kun, I could send you back to the human world if you wish, but other street demons or fallen angels might try to hurt you again. You can also stay here if you want. There's someone who can help you control your power, and you can visit me as often as you like, but it's all your decision. Issei considered what Surziches had proposed. He wanted to be in his world, but he didn't want anyone to die again because of him. He didn't want to lose anyone else. Surziches-sama, I will stay here and train to become stronger. He said with a determined look. Alright, I'll arrange everything to make your stay here worthwhile, not only for your training, but also for your education. I hope we get along well, Issei-kun. Thank you, Surziches-sama, I will always be indebted to you. He said, bowing to Surziches. Surziches, Ajuka Beelzebub-sama is here. Said a beautiful girl with blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, a voluptuous body dressed in a white button-down shirt and a pink skirt that reached her feet. Thank you, Ayaka, I'll go right away, Surziches replied. Well, Issei-kun, rest for now, as tomorrow I'll take you to meet your coach for the next few years, he said with a smile, then left the room. Mom, Dad, I love you. Issei thought before falling unconscious. Surziches arrived at the hall of his castle where his lifelong friend and rival was waiting for him. So, did he wake up or not? Ajuka asked. Yes, I spoke with him and he agreed to remain in the underworld. But it's still strange, a human isn't supposed to be able to awaken the sacred gear on their own, so how was he able to do it? Surziches asked. I don't know, not even a trace of demonic energy is detected in him, but I'm fairly certain the mark on his back holds the answers to our questions. I'll investigate and keep you updated on any information, Ajuka said. Okay, see you later. And with that, Ajuka disappeared. The next day. Surziches had taken Issei to a mountainous region far from his castle. Who will help me control my power, Surziches-sama? Issei asked. You'll see soon, Issei-kun. After continuing to walk, a powerful crash was heard very close by. Issei was a little scared, while Surziches gave a slight smile. Surziches, Lucifer, what is the great Mau-sama doing in my home? A towering dragon of immense size appeared from between 2 large rock formations. Hanan, the meteor dragon, it's a pleasure to see you. I'm here to ask a favor, Surziches said. What could he possibly want from me? This boy is the new Sekiryuutei, and I would like you to train him as your apprentice. The Sekiryuutei, it's been a while, Drake. Ah, but it's none other than Tannen. The glove on Issei's left arm appeared and a deep voice began to speak from one of the gems. What do you think of your new container? It seems to have the potential to have appeared to you when you were just a child. I couldn't tell you, for now I don't feel much power within him, it's as if something is blocking him. Who are you? Issei asked. My name is Drake, the Red Dragon Emperor, and you are my partner, Hyoudou Issei. Partner, Issei said. So, what do you say, Tannen? Surziches asked again. Well, I don't have anything more interesting to do. I suppose it'll be alright. In 10 years this little one should be able to activate his balance breaker. Good, but on weekends he'll be studying with an instructor so he doesn't neglect his education. Alright. Well, Issei-kun, I guess we'll see each other again next weekend. Yes, Surziches-sama. 10 years later. So, what were Issei-kun's results? Surziches asked. 10 years had passed since Issei had trained with Tannen. He trained day and night with that dragon. His strength had increased considerably. He was now taller, his hair reached just above his shoulders, and he had developed an excellent physique. But as far as his magic was concerned, he had not made very good progress. Well, his power could rival that of a high-class devil, the problem is that due to the absence of magical power, he cannot maintain it properly. What do you mean? He achieved the balance breaker state, but he can only maintain it for a maximum of 1 hour. His powers are strong but very unstable, so I focused on his physical development. So, its low development is due to that label. Seal? Tannen asked. You'll see, Tannen. Ajuka found out everything he could about the mark on Issei's back. Apparently, it was a very powerful seal that almost completely suppressed the powers of whoever wore it. He tried to find a way to remove it from Issei, but since he didn't know where it came from, there wasn't much he could do. So, that child might have a suppressed power, Tannen asked. Yes, but until we can untie him or know what he really is, we should let him live as normal a human life as possible, Surziches said. I guess it's okay, the boy deserves at least a little peace and quiet. It's been nothing but training and more training. Yes, I'll take him to his hometown and I'll make sure he studies at the high school where my sister studies. Ruin Princess, have you met the boy before? No, Rias rarely came to Lucifer's castle, and when she did, Issei-kun was training with you. I see, I'll let Issei know his training is ending tonight so you can take him tomorrow. Yes, but don't tell her anything about the seal, I don't want to give her false hope, we'll see each other tomorrow then. At night. Dragon shoot. Issei was fighting in balance breaker mode against Tannen in a practice battle. Tannen had sent a powerful fire shot, characteristic of the meteor dragon, but Issei managed to counter it with a powerful dragon shoot. Well done, kid, but you still have a long way to go to surpass me. Then it's time to level up. Issei said, and his body began to glow. Red dragon that resides within me, I am the current Sekiryuutei who now summons your true power. Unleash your energy to defeat your enemies and engulf them in your crimson light. Dragon rage. Issei's armor began to undergo some changes. The thrusters on his back extended and turned blue, and parts of his legs and arms turned jet black. Dragon Imperial Booster. Issei disappeared in a flash, and shortly after, he gave Tannen a powerful punch to the jaw, then again proceeded to hit Tannen in the body, and thus kept hitting Tannen multiple times at incredible speeds. Dragon Imperial Fist. While Tannen was stunned by the blows, Issei rose above the great dragon, thrust his right fist back, 5 red magic circles appeared, each one larger than the previous one, and then he sent a powerful attack towards Tannen, striking from the air and causing a powerful flash of power. When the dazzling light had died down, Issei found himself at the top of the cliff where he and Tannen had been fighting. Issei's armor was gone, leaving the young man tired, with multiple scratches and a little blood coming out of his mouth. An incredible attack, kid. Tannen appeared flying, he had several scratches, and apparently, a little blood was coming out of his mouth. The fact that you made me bleed is proof of how much you've improved, he said proudly. Dragon Rage, the Dragon Fury, the power that rivals the Juggernaut Drive, without its terrible consequences. But it's not enough because of my lack of magical power, I can't maintain my rage form for more than 10 seconds, and if I make a powerful attack, my armor immediately falls apart. The balance breaker only lasts a maximum of 1 hour, and after that, I won't be able to move properly for another hour, I'm still too weak. I think your lack of power might also be due to your lack of experience as a human, you've lived through so many bad things that you haven't had the chance to live like a normal human for a long time, Surziches and I spoke just now, and we've decided to send you back to the human world. I know you'll be able to take good care of yourself, make friends, have a girlfriend or many if you want, but you must have a human life, have experiences outside the underworld. To return to the human world. Yes, Surziches will come for you tomorrow. He has already arranged everything for your home and your studies. Returning to the human world, if that's what Surziches-sama wishes, then it's fine by me. Issei said respectfully. Okay, rest for now. I've heard that a human life is very strenuous. He said, a drop of sweat falling from his face. Yes, Tannen-asan. Issei went to rest in a cave that had become his home. Exhaustion led him to fall asleep when his head touched the makeshift bed he had built. Since arriving in the underworld, he had had a recurring dream in which a man with violet eyes and black hair, who had a somewhat familiar appearance, looked at him with a melancholic smile before kissing him on the forehead and running away. Then, the dream jumped to where a beautiful woman with brown hair and green eyes looked at Issei with a sad smile and tears in her eyes, before also giving him a kiss on the forehead. Issei woke up sweating and panting. For some reason, that dream made him feel sad. He got out of bed, dried his sweat a little, and left the cave. Although there is no sun in the underworld, Issei could feel that it was already morning. You're awake, Issei-kun. Yes, I usually get up a little early, Surziches-sama. I see, so you're ready. Yes, I suppose it's time to return to the human world. Hi everyone, thank you for your support on the first chapter. I must say I'm really grateful for all the reviews, favorites, and followers. It's time to answer a couple of things. You see, after considering it for 5 days, talking with other fellow writers and thinking it over until I was exhausted, I decided that Issei will be part of Rias' Peerage, if you're wondering why. It's because there are things that only happened because Issei was part of Rias' Peerage, like the raiding game against Phoenix, or the council members, which was omitted in the 3rd season. The Juggernaut Drive. The fight and rivalry against Sekiryuutei. But for those who didn't support the idea of Issei being a servant, don't worry, I'm going to change many aspects of our protagonist, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but I ask you to remember that Issei, in my fic, is the son of 2 high-class demons, which will greatly affect things when this is revealed. I will also be making other changes that I hope you will enjoy. I will do my best to meet your expectations, so please be patient with me. Thank you again for your support, and now there is one more important thing I need to tell you. The members of Issei's harem are as follows. Rias G. Akeno H. Rossweisse. Grafia L. In this fic, she is not Surzich's wife. That role belongs to my Aka. Therefore, Grafia will have a separate story here and she will retain her original age because I find the idea of a powerful demon falling in love with Issei quite exciting. Kaneko T. Zenobia Q. Arena S. Tsubaki S. Hiroka. Chapter 3 I will get a girlfriend. I'll get a girlfriend. I think this is a little too much. Issei said, arriving home accompanied by Surzich's and Ayaka. Well, I wanted your human life to be as pleasant as possible, so this is what I came up with, Surzich's said with a gentle smile. Issei's house was 6 stories tall. Surzich's showed Issei around. The main floor featured a large, luxurious living room with a powerful sound system and home theater, computers, and more. Another room housed a fully equipped kitchen with various utensils and food. Finally, there was the main bathroom, which included a bathtub, shower, and other amenities. The 2nd and 3rd floors were for bedrooms. On each floor there were 5 large bedrooms, each with its own bathroom and king-size beds. The 4th floor was basically a gym with multiple exercise machines and a simple shower. The 5th floor was a garden with a semi-Olympic swimming pool. But it didn't stop there. The house also had 3 other basement floors, one of which was for training, where there was a kind of court for practice battles and other things. The next floor was an onsen, with hot springs, showers, saunas and many other luxuries that anyone could enjoy, and the bottom basement floor was empty for any use that Issei wished to give it even had some extra rooms. I want you to lead a normal human life, but don't ruin some luxuries, Surzich's said in the room. This house is self-sustaining, meaning that aside from your clothes and food, it will do everything else, including cleaning and other things, Ayaka said. It also has many secret rooms and other mysteries, the architect's idea. Thank you Surzich's sama, Ayaka-san, I am truly indebted to you. Issei said, bowing in gratitude. You're welcome. Now, I want you to visit Kao Academy in an hour. You'll have an introductory meeting with the headmaster there because your classes start tomorrow. After that, you should buy some clothes and other things. Your academy uniform is already in your room. We'll be in touch. Good luck from now on, Issei-kun. Surzich's said. Take care, Issei-san, Ayaka said. After that, the two disappeared in a circle of magic, leaving Issei alone in his new home. This place is too big for one person. I sighed. The first thing he decided to do was go out and explore the neighborhood a bit to see how much it had changed since he left 10 years ago. Issei wandered around the city dressed in a simple grey t-shirt and blue pants. Issei's appearance had also changed during his years of training. He was currently 1.77 meters tall. His hair was brown with several blonde streaks and reached just below his neck, tied in a single ponytail instead of 2. His eyes were still different colors, giving him an aura of mystery, and he had a well-defined complexion that was noticeable even under his t-shirt. He walked around for at least half an hour looking at the surroundings. Some things had changed, others not so much, but it was still the place where he grew up. After exploring, he went to Kao Academy, where he saw a large number of teenagers his age. Wow, it's relaxing to see so many guys my age who aren't trying to kill me, Issei thought. Well, that's because you're in the human world, where few know the truth about demons. Drake replied. I suppose you're right, although I did sense some demonic presences around here. Remember what Surzich's said, some high-class demon might own this territory. If that's the case, I suppose I should give them their space. Surzich's sama wanted me to have as normal a human life as possible, so we'll let them take the first step. Whatever you say, mate. Issei arrived where a girl with brown hair tied in a ponytail with a red ribbon, dressed in a kendo uniform. Excuse me, could you tell me where I can find the principal's office? Issei said, touching the girl's shoulders. Get away from me, pervert. The girl yelled, turning around to attack Issei with her wooden sword. However, Issei easily stopped it with one hand. Although I have no idea why you're furious or why you're calling me a pervert, I apologize for the trouble, and I'll go ask someone else. Issei said gracefully as he slowly released the sword. What? No, I'm sorry. The girl exclaimed after seeing Issei. It's just that there are a couple of really perverted guys at this academy who like to bother us, so we can't let our guard down. I'm so sorry. He said, bowing. No, I can understand your reaction, don't worry, everything's fine, Issei said, reassuring the girl. By the way, my name is Issei Hyoudou, he said with a charming smile. I'm Murayama. The girl said, introducing herself. Nice to meet you, Murayama-san. By the way, could you help me find the principal's office? I have an introductory meeting to start studying here, Issei said. Yes, this way. She said with a blush as she asked Issei to follow her. Upon arriving at the principal's office, Murayama said goodbye with the promise that they would meet again the next day. After that, Issei entered the principal's office. Good morning, my name is Hyoudou, and I'm here for an introductory meeting with the director, he told the secretary. Yes, the director is expecting you. He said, gesturing toward the door. Issei knocked and opened the door in front of him to find a man in his early 30s sitting behind a desk. Ah, Mr. Hyoudou, I was expecting you, said the director. Yes, please excuse my delay, but I got lost while the neighborhood was exploding, he said apologetically. No problem, an exchange student from Scandinavia should get used to the place, said the director. So that's what Surzich's-sama came up with for my admission. Well, at least they believed it. After a tour of the academy and the introduction of some of the teachers, Issei finally left the place, passing over a bridge about a meter high, while sighing in search of a place to buy clothes and other things for his new life. The next day. Issei left his house dressed in his Kao Academy uniform. A long-sleeved black jacket, an unbuttoned white button-down shirt, a red undershirt, black pants, and blue sneakers. His hair was still tied in a ponytail, but he styled the strands of hair around his face to the right, giving it a sophisticated look. She walked to her academy, carrying her purse on her left arm behind her back, walking calmly while listening to some murmurs about a new prince. Wow, 2 princes studying at an academy, I didn't think this place had celebrities, Issei thought. Issei-san. Ice heard from behind him. Ah. Murayama-san. Issei said upon seeing the girl he met yesterday, who was accompanied by another girl with short hair. Good morning, Issei-san. The girl greeted. Good morning, Issei replied. This is Caddis, she's with me at the Kendo club, she said, introducing her friend. And nice to meet you, Issei-san. Caddis said. Nice to meet you, Caddis-san. So, today is your first day as a student at Kao Academy, Murayama said. Yes, I'm in second year, class 2B. Issei said. Seriously? Caddis said. It's the same class Caddis and I are in, Murayama said before the bell rang. Let's go to class, we'd better go or we'll be late. Issei said, and so he was led by his 2 new classmates to the classroom. All the students took their seats while Issei remained outside the classroom, waiting for his teacher to make his presentation. Good morning, class, said the teacher, entering the classroom. Before we continue with yesterday's lesson, we have a new exchange student who will be studying with us from now on. He gestured for Issei to enter. Well son, welcome to Kao Academy, please introduce yourself, said the teacher. Good morning everyone, my name is Hyoudou, and I'm 17 years old, I hope we get along well from now on. He said with a gentle smile. Does anyone have any questions for Issei-kun? The teacher said, prompting some girls to raise their hands. What country are you from? Asked a girl with blue hair. I come from Scandinavia, but I used to live in this city 10 years ago. He replied calmly, causing some murmurs. Just like Rias one-sama. This comment made Issei frown slightly, but he quickly returned to his gentle smile. Are all Scandinavians beautiful? What color are your eyes exactly? Another girl asked. Well, heterochromia has caused my right eye to be violet while my left eye is light blue. If there are no more questions, Issei-kun, you can sit over there. The teacher said, pointing to an empty seat by the window. The class went on more or less normally, as many of the girls were not so discreetly looking at Issei, while he was simply bored with the class, since his studies at Lucifer's castle had advanced him many years, and he already knew the things he would see this year. When the bell rang, Issei quickly left the classroom as he wanted to find a place where he could relax. He reached a leafy tree near the old school building, sat down there, and then began to talk to Dreg. Being here makes me miss being with Tan and Asen. Is it because everything here is so boring? Something like that, but I spent most of my life in the underworld, meeting people and beings of great power, I guess I just need to get used to human life again. Well, there might be something above you that will make you forget that feeling of boredom. Issei looked up and saw a beautiful red-eyed girl, whose hair was even redder than blood, staring at him with piercing eyes. Their eyes met, but shortly after, the red-eyed girl re-entered the room. Ruined Princess Urzich's Sama's sister is also at this academy. So the crimson-haired princess of Ruin is here, it must be fate. I don't think so. If Surzich's Sama had wanted me to meet her, he would have told me she was studying here. If she's the owner of this territory, then let's just let things take their course for now. I must continue my human life, perhaps as Tananasan said, I must get a girlfriend. After more conversation between Issei and Drake, the bell rang, indicating that it was time to return to class. The whole day passed very slowly for Issei, since he knew almost everything that was being taught in class, so more than once he fell asleep, only to be gently woken up by some girl who didn't want him to get scolded. Departure time. Old school building. When it was time to leave, Issei walked calmly towards his home. Well, as he left, he was watched from the old school building by the crimson-haired beauty. Akeno, do you know anything about the new second-year boy? Rias asked. Hi, do Issei, second-year student, class B, transfer student from Scandinavia. Another beautiful girl with black hair tied in an orange ponytail that reached almost to her feet answered. Hi, do Issei. Interesting, Rias said. Kaneko, I need you to observe him secretly. She told a short girl with silver hair who was sitting in an armchair. Yes, Butchu. Kaneko said before I left the room. Could it be that our dear Butchu has fallen in love with this new boy? Akeno said with a smile. He has something about him that intrigues me. I want to find out what it is and make him mine. He said as he returned to his chess game. By the way, checkmate. He said as he made the final move that secured his victory. And I even put in more effort this time. Akeno said, looking at the board. With Issei. Issei was walking calmly across a bridge above a street, thinking about what he would have to cook. Excuse me? A voice interrupted Issei's thoughts. A girl wearing the school uniform of another academy, with black hair, was looking at him with a blush on her face. Partner, she is. I know, Drake, she's a fallen angel. What do you think he might want from you? I don't know. Surzich's Sama didn't say anything about fallen angels around here, nor did I hear anything about Azazel. Do you think he's a fallen angel on the street? Or maybe, like me, she just wants a new life. She doesn't seem like a bad person. Maybe this is the sign you were talking about and I can make this girl my girlfriend. I don't know, mate, I don't trust her. Relax, Drake. After my unfortunate life, maybe this girl can give me a new opportunity too, and it wouldn't be bad to take her home. Yes, hello. Issei replied to the girl. Hey, are you Hyoudou, Issei? He asked timidly. Yes, that's me. I saw you here yesterday and then I saw you now in your Cow Academy uniform, so I asked a friend to give me your name. It's just that I like you and I'd like to go out with you. The girl said, blushing. Oh really? Issei said incredulously. I never imagined getting a girlfriend in the human world would be so easy, he thought. Well, no one has ever been so direct with me before. I guess it's okay. He replied to the girl. Okay, this Sunday at the plaza, but I'll be walking you to school and waiting for you after class every day, the girl told him. Well, that way we can get to know each other better. Alright, I'll see you here tomorrow morning. She said, running towards Issei and giving him a kiss on the cheek. By the way, my name is Amano Yuma. She added before leaving. Amano Yuma. Issei said, looking in the direction the girl had gone, then went home himself, ignoring the girl who had been spying on him for a while. When Issei left, Kaneko came out of a tree while eating a popsicle and looking at the place where that young man had gone, before reporting everything to Rias. During the following days, Issei would meet Yuma on the same bridge and they would both walk to Issei's academy. They got to know each other better and better, finding common interests and some differences too, but they didn't let it affect them. Sunday Town Square. Issei was waiting in the center of the plaza. He had arrived 15 minutes ago to avoid being late. It's about time, Issei said. Take one. A girl wearing a dark red shirt, a white skirt, and with peculiarly styled hair said, handing him a piece of paper with a symbol on it. The girl walked away. The Gremory family symbol. Are they planning to recruit me? She thought as she looked at the paper. I don't think I need this. I feel like I can trust Uma-chan. She actually had the courage to speak to me. She thought as she tore up the paper and threw it away. The Cult Research Club. Rias Gremory was looking at her chess pieces when she felt a kind of electric shock in her body. The seal has been destroyed, he gasped. Is everything alright, Rias? Akeno asked. It's Hyoudou, Issei. I have to find him. He said hurriedly before leaving the clubroom. Square. Issei-kun. Yuma said, running to meet Issei. She was dressed in a purple shirt, a black skirt, and a pink bag. Good morning, Yuma-chan. Forgive me, did you wait too long? No, I just arrived too. Issei and Yuma left for their date. First, they went to some shops to look at some clothes, where they both tried on some strange outfits and laughed at each other. After that they went to another store where Yuma found a kind of bracelet that she seemed to like a lot, so Issei decided to buy it for her. Then they went to an ice cream shop where Issei paid for each of their ice creams while they rested for a while from walking. Delicious. Yuma said, tasting his ice cream. I knew you'd like it, Issei told him. Why yes, he replied. Something Issei had noticed was that sometimes Yuma would make a sort of sad expression, as if she were worried about something, but instead of asking her, he had decided to cheer her up. After leaving the ice cream shop, he took her to the cinema to see a movie, then he took her to the park, the sun was already setting, and they both went to a fountain. I had a lot of fun today, Yuma said. Yes, it's been years since I've felt this relaxed, Issei said. As they both walked towards the fountain, Issei saw Yuma go ahead of him, standing in front of him. Issei-kun, would you do something for me? Yuma asked, looking down at the ground with the same sad expression. Of course, if it's within my reach, I'll do what I can, she replied with a smile. Yuma ran up to him to hug him and whisper in his ear. You have to leave here, I whispered in his ear. What? Issei asked, only for Yuma to hug him even tighter. You have to leave, now. She told him. Issei-kun, I'm no good, my mission was to finish you off, but I can't do it. She said, letting go of Issei and taking a few steps back. Then, Yuma's clothes tore apart, revealing a very revealing black outfit that covered what was necessary, and two large dark wings grew from her back. Issei-kun, you have two, but before he could finish the sentence, Issei had been pierced through the chest and stomach by two spears. Another fallen angel. I was so distracted I didn't notice, Issei thought as pain coursed through his body. Why Yuma-chan, did you suggest this? Issei asked, as he began to cough up blood. Issei-kun, I didn't, she said with the intention of running towards Issei. Rainer? A man's voice called from behind Issei. Let's go now. He could be dangerous to our faction, this is for the best. Donosik murmured the now cold Rainer. Come on, he's about to die. The man said, spreading his wings and beginning to fly. Rainer gave Issei a sad look and then flew away along with Donosik, but not before giving Issei one last look and disappearing. So I was tricked, haha. Issei fell to the ground, blood gushing from the two holes in his abdomen. Hey Drag, am I going to die? Your heart and stomach were pierced. Even recharging your power wouldn't have been enough to save you. Damn it, tell your next wielder to always listen to you, if not, let them ask me deep within the sacred gear. Buddy. Don't be sad, Drag, we can still talk deep inside the boosted gear, he said with a sigh. So I died without being able to avenge my parents, I suppose that's what someone with such a tragic life as mine deserves, he said, looking at his bloodied hand. Surzich's-sama, I will never be able to repay my debt, I'm sorry. As he breathed his last, he could see a shadow approaching him from the air. Every second that passed, he saw the shadow take the form of a girl with hair as red as blood. She was wearing her school uniform and had the wings of a bat. The girl landed next to Issei, looking at him with a worried expression, and examined his body to see that he was still alive. That's great, I found you, I arrived just in time, the girl said. Rias Gremory, was she looking for me? You're badly wounded, you're going to die, but I'll pick you up. He said as he bent down and took out some pawn pieces. Your life live for me. Rias inserted 3 pawn pieces into Issei's body, but nothing happened. She increased the number to 5 pieces, but still nothing happened. Rias gave up and decided to use all her pieces on Issei. But even so, nothing happened. Issei continued to agonize without feeling any change in his body. He gasped and gasped while the blood still came out of him. Then no way, aren't there enough pieces? Rias said, seeing that her pieces weren't reacting to Issei. Issei's breathing became less and less steady, his heartbeat slowing down more and more. Issei, I'm so sorry I didn't arrive on time. Rias said, looking at him as a tear fell from her face. Seeing Ria's expression, Issei brought his left hand to her cheek, gently caressing it, so she would understand that he didn't blame her for anything. His hand slowly weakened, but Rias held it, feeling the heat slowly dissipate from Issei's body. When Rias saw that Issei's breathing stopped and his eyes closed, she placed Issei's hand on the ground and gave him a soft kiss on the forehead. As she was about to extract the pawn pieces from inside Issei, a magic circle appeared from Issei's forehead. The atmosphere began to grow heavier and heavier. Rias stepped back a little to see Issei enveloped in a mass of darkness, only to be illuminated by a crimson glow. Chapter 4. My new life begins. That hurts, Hyoudou. Issei was just starting to get out of bed, a strange pain invading his chest and abdomen. Or why am I naked? Then slowly, memories began to return to his mind. We must leave. I'm not good. Yuma no Rainer, Issei murmured, before his eyes widened in shock. Drag, are you there? He asked his left arm. Me, partner, it's good to see you awake. Drag's voice said, as a green gem appeared from his left arm. I'm glad too, so, was it all real? Issei said. Yeah, but don't feel so bad about it, at least you got to bring a girl home, well, she brought you home. Issei gave a small smile, then turned his gaze to his bed, where a beautiful crimson-haired girl lay sleeping peacefully without clothes. "So she saved me," Issei said, then Rias slowly began to wake up, her eyes opened, she got out of bed and gave Issei a gentle smile. "Is it already morning?" Rias said, yawning. "Good morning, Issei." "Good morning, Rias-senpai," Issei said, smiling at Rias. You seem quite calm after finding a strange girl, waking up in your same bed by the way, can I call you Ice?" Rias said. "Go ahead, Ice, it's easier and well it's not the first time this has happened," Issei said, laughing. "Besides, you're not exactly a stranger. Rias Gremory, heir to the Gremory clan and sister of Surzich's Lucifer-sama," Issei said, drawing the Retide's attention. How do you know that?" Rias asked. Well, Issei was thinking about telling her what had happened. It was still difficult for him to talk about it even now, but Rias had saved him. She had to know. 10 years ago, my parents were attacked by 3 demons. They were looking for me because of what was inside me, and when my parents refused to tell them where I was they were killed. Surzich's Sama found me on the verge of death and saved me. Since then, I've been indebted to him. Is that so? I'm sorry, what happened next? Rias asked, more interested, but showing her pity for the boy. I lived in the underworld for the last 10 years, until recently when Surzich's Sama sent me back here to have a normal human life. I'm sorry, if only I had known, Rias said with a sad expression, but she was interrupted by Issei. No, it's all my fault. If I hadn't been so careless, thanks to you, I'm alive. Even though I've become a demon, I owe you my life, Rias-senpai, Issei said with a gentle smile. I see, I'm glad to hear that, Rias said before standing up. She found her panties and put them on, then asked Issei for help putting on her bra. Once she was ready, she decided to wait for Issei to change so they could both go to school. Rias couldn't help but blush as she took in Issei's naked body. She was surprised by how well built he was. Then she remembered something Issei had said that had caught her attention. Ice, you said that the demons were looking for you because of what was inside you, Rias said. Yes, my name is Hyoudou Issei, the current Sekiryuutei, Issei said as he showed his gauntlet to Rias. The Sekiryuutei? Rias said in surprise. Yes, boosted gear, one of the 13 Longinus, I'm here to help you in any way I can, Issei said with a smile as he finished changing. Rias smiled at Issei's declaration, and once they were both ready, they headed toward school. Upon arrival, many of the students were surprised by the appearance of the two arriving together. Some girls screamed with excitement while others were jealous, and the boys couldn't stop feeling envy and jealousy towards Issei. The two continued walking calmly until they reached the inside of the school building. Once there, Rias moved in front of Issei. I'll send a messenger for you later, said the Retide. I understand, until then. Issei replied. Rias said goodbye and went up the stairs of the building. Issei-san. Issei saw Murayama and Katis approaching him. Good morning, Murayama-san and Katis-san. Issei greeted them. Good morning. The girls replied. As the three of them chatted quietly, they heard a small commotion that caught their attention. It was the other girls from the kendo club chasing 2 boys, one with dark hair and glasses and the other bald with slanted eyes. When Issei saw that the girls from the kendo club had cornered them, he quickly ran to stop the sword of one of the girls who was about to hit them. Excuse me, could I ask why you're about to hit these boys? Issei said while holding one of the girls' swords. These 2 perverts were spying on us while we were putting on our uniforms, one of the girls replied. Issei-san, these are the 2 boys I told you about. Murayama said, arriving alongside Issei along with Katis. Are you defending these 2 perverts? Another girl asked. No, Issei said calmly. I simply don't like seeing such beautiful girls wasting their time on this kind of thing. The girls from the kendo club blushed furiously because of Issei's words. Each one gradually calmed down and began to retreat, leaving Issei with the 2 boys. You should be a little more careful, girls can be very scary when they get angry, Issei told them. Issei-san, hurry up. Katis shouted. Classes are about to begin. Murayama said. Issei left the 2 boys there and went inside the school building with Murayama and Katis to go to class. Rias had remained on the 2nd floor without losing sight of Issei. While she watched him, a girl with short hair a little above her shoulders, with purple eyes and red glasses, spoke to her from behind. So that's the guy you were so interested in? The girl asked. Sona. Rias said calmly upon seeing her friend. Yes, I can sense that this boy has something special about him, Rias replied with a gentle smile. Sona couldn't help but show surprise at her friend's unusual behavior. In the afternoon. Classes had just ended. Issei was preparing his things while waiting for the person Rias was going to send. While he was doing so, Katis and Murayama approached him along with some other girls. Issei-san. Daiho Murayama. We and some other girls were going to Karaik to hang out and we wanted to know, would you like to come with us? Katis said. It's very thoughtful of you to invite me, but I have something to do after I leave here, Issei told them with a smile. While they were talking, some shouts began to be heard from the entrance of the room. Issei turned his gaze to see a blond boy with a mole under his eye entering the room. The boy greeted some people and then walked over to where Issei was. "Hyoudou Issei-kun. My name is Hyoudou Kiba, I have a message for you from Rias Gremory," the blond boy said with a smile. "Would you like to follow me, if it's not too much trouble?" "So it's you?" Issei said before getting up and heading for the door along with the other boy. The two princes of the school walking together. "I've never seen anything so beautiful." Many of the girls began to get exasperated because of the two boys, some even had nosebleeds, which caused the two boys to snicker as they left the room. Issei followed Kiba out of the school building, past the training fields until they reached the old school building. Upon entering, they went up some stairs until they reached a room that said Occult Research Club. The first thing Issei saw upon entering was a tidy room with a desk, furniture, some armchairs, and other things. Sitting on an armchair was a small girl with silver hair and a cat-shaped hair clip, eating some kind of bread. "She is Taoju Kaneko, a first-year student," Kiba said. "Nice to meet you," Kaneko said without turning to look at Issei. "Nice to meet you, it's a pleasure to meet the girl who's been spying on me these past few days," Issei said, which really caught the girl's attention. "Did you notice?" she said in a soft tone of voice, although her eyes really showed a hint of surprise. "Yes, it wasn't difficult to detect your presence," Issei said calmly. How interesting, Cowhai," said a beautiful girl with a voluptuous figure and long orange hair tied in a bun. "I'm the vice president of the Occult Research Club, Akeno Himejima. Please make yourself comfortable." Akeno isn't she the daughter of Issei thought, but decided it was best to keep it to himself. "Nice to meet you, Akeno-san. I hope we get along well," Issei said politely. Then his attention shifted to the beautiful Rias emerging from the shower, covered only by a towel. Ice, you're here," Rias said. "I'd like to welcome you to the Occult Research Club." "Thank you very much, it will be a pleasure to collaborate in the club's activities, as well as in other jobs," Issei said. "Alright, something you should know is that Issei already has knowledge about the underworld and everything about demons," Rias said, drawing her servant's attention. "He lived in the underworld training with a dragon for the last 10 years, then was sent back to the human world." Then you must be very strong, Issei-kun," Akeno said, which caused a strange reaction in Issei, but he quickly returned to his usual smile. "Well, I'll do the best I can." Shortly after, each of the members withdrew to begin their devil work, leaving Issei alone with Rias in the clubroom. "So, you know about the devil's jobs?" the Redeed asked. "Yes, a devil is hired by humans to do favors or other things for them, in exchange for money or something valuable. If the devil manages to secure a contract, then it can be very beneficial for the clan he comes from," Issei said. "That's right, the more jobs you do, the more prestige you can gain and do whatever you want. Think of a goal for yourself and make it a reality," Rias said, smiling. The goal, Issei said as he thought about something he would like to have. It would be to become a high-class devil and be the harem king. "Hey, king of the harem?" Rias said with a small giggle. "Yes, Tananasan, the dragon I trained with, said I should get myself one or many girlfriends, and since one didn't work, then I'll try with several," he said while smiling. "Well, at least it's a dream," Rias said. "Do your best," she added, smiling. Suddenly, a piece of paper glowed on her desk. She went to see what it was, and once she read it, she gave Issei a gentle smile. "Apparently someone has requested our services, go do your first job and try to get your first contract," Rias said, smiling. "Yes, I'll do what I can, Rias Butchu," Issei replied. Rias asked Akeno to open a teleportation circle in the clubroom. Once it was open, Rias placed the Gremory clan mark on Issei's right arm. Issei moved to the center of the circle, waiting to be transported. He was a little nervous because he wasn't very good at traveling through circles, but when the light from the teleportation circle illuminated him, Issei was gone from the clubroom. Applicant's home. When Issei opened his eyes, he realized that he was no longer in the club but in the living room of an apartment. There were some sofas, a table, a television, books, among other things. After inspecting the room, he found a girl with black hair and green eyes who was watching him while peeking shyly from behind a wall. My name is Hyoudou Issei, I'm here to respond to the request made to our clan," Issei said as calmly as possible so as not to frighten the girl further. Excuse me Demon Santi, this is the first time I've done something like this, and the paper said if you wanted to make your dreams come true," the girl said shyly, not showing herself to Issei. "I understand, let me explain how our services work," Issei said, sighing calmly and offering a serene smile. "You see, when we are summoned, we offer favors to our summoners in exchange for money or something of value. You can also enter into a contract to have our services provided more frequently and more easily." I understand, so could you spend some time with me?" the girl said, emerging from her hiding place while looking down at the ground to try and hide her blush. The girl was truly attractive, with a voluptuous figure and average height. She was dressed in a long-sleeved white shirt, a black tie, a blue skirt, and had reading glasses hanging around her neck. Her hair was quite long, reaching just below her legs, and she wore a headband that parted it into two fringes, one on each side of her face. "Be Vera Demon-san," said the girl. "It's fine with Issei." Issei interrupted her. "Why yes Vera, Issei-san, this day was very special to me," she said, making a sad expression. "Today would have been my anniversary with my ex-boyfriend, but a week ago, he broke up with me. He said he didn't like the way I was, so he just left," she said as a tear fell down her face. "I understand, but what was it that he didn't like about you?" Issei asked. "And my shy nature says I'm not what he expected." Issei really didn't understand why anyone would let a girl like that go, simply because she can't handle herself easily. "I understand, so what you want is for me to spend time with you, so I don't think about your ex," Issei said. It's pathetic, isn't it?" I'm sorry I wasted your time, it was a silly idea," the girl said with a sad expression. "What are you saying?" Issei interrupted. "Of course I'd love to spend time with you," she said, surprising him. "Oh really? Even though I'm very shy and it's hard for me to talk to you?" "Of course, being shy isn't something you should be ashamed of. To me, shy girls are sweet and very cute, it will be a pleasure to be with you," Issei said, causing the girl to blush. They talked about themselves to get to know each other better. Apparently, the girl's name was Misaki Kodaka, a recent university graduate with a job as a secretary. After chatting, Issei took it upon himself to prepare a sweet evening for Misaki. Misaki slowly warmed up to Issei, offering him gentle smiles and even the occasional laugh when they talked about funny things. Issei had helped her forget how sad she felt and had a good time until it was time for him to leave. "So you have to leave?" the girl asked with a sad expression. "Yes, but don't be sad," Issei said, gently lifting her chin with his hand. "Whenever you need anything, you can ask for help again," Issei said, smiling. "So you'll come back?" "Maybe, although someone else could come unless you sign a contract with me," Issei said. Without hesitation, the girl agreed to make the contract with him if it would allow her to see him again. Once the contract was made, Issei said goodbye, giving her a sweet kiss on the cheek and leaving through the door, leaving the girl frozen because of his way of saying goodbye. As Issei happily made his way to the occult research club after completing his first contract, he could feel the atmosphere begin to change. A somewhat heavy atmosphere invaded the place, the cause of which Issei could recognize. "Wow, I didn't expect Rainer to fail even at such a simple task, that just proves how useless she is," a voice said from behind her. Issei twitched upon hearing the name of the person who had deceived him, turning his gaze towards the person who had said such a thing, only to find a blonde-haired girl wearing a gothic Lolita outfit with her black wings sprouting from her back. "I suppose I, the great middled, am in charge of tea." The girl couldn't finish her sentence when she saw Issei quickly disappear and then reappear behind her while holding his wings and placing his right foot on the girl's back. "It would be so easy to tear off your dark wings right now," Issei said in a cold voice that terrified the girl. "But there's something I want you to do, tell Rainer and Donaseek that I'm alive and that I'm looking for them," he said as he pushed the girl with his foot. Middled saw out of the corner of his eye the Gremory mark on Issei's arm. He knew it would be best not to mess with someone like him, so he decided to flee quickly before Issei could say any last words to him. "If I happen to find you near here again, don't expect me to be so merciful." Club Lounge. Issei arrived at the club room where only Rias and Akeno were playing a game of chess. Upon noticing the boy's presence, Rias suspended her game. Welcome back Issei, how did it go?" Rias asked him. "Well, it was interesting," Issei said, drawing the girl's attention. "But I got my first contract," he added with a smile. "Congratulations, I knew you'd do well," Rias said. "Yes, but that wasn't all that happened," he said, his expression turning serious. "I encountered a fallen angel on my way back here." The girls showed their concern at Issei's statement. "But I'm fine. I managed to scare her a little and she left after realizing I had been resurrected as a member of Gremory," he said calmly. You're amazing, Issei-kun," Akeno said, smiling. "And now you've caused us a lot of trouble," Rias said, drawing the attention of both Akeno and Issei. "Now that the fallen angels know you were resurrected as a demon, they won't stop causing trouble, it could start a war," she said seriously. I understand, I'm sorry for causing any trouble then, I'll take my leave," Issei said with a complicated expression before leaving the club. "I think you were a little harsh on him, he's just a rookie," Akeno said after seeing the pained expression on Issei's face. "I know, but I don't want him to fall prey to the fallen angels. I couldn't forgive myself if I lost my beloved Issei." The next day. "Damn it, I really messed things up with Butchu yesterday," Issei sighed. He'd gone to the park to clear his head and relax before heading to school. I hope she's not mad at me anymore, he said aloud. Ah. A scream snapped Issei out of his thoughts. Why do I keep falling? Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.